So before we pull in Asmo, I do have one question that was sent to me. I have a couple of them, but I do have one question that came in first, right when Xylee came in. Um, I was told to ask you about the Ding Dong drama.
Ding Dong?
That's a pretty frustrating one. So essentially, wait, how much do you guys know, or should I just explain it
Well,
all?
okay, so from what I remember, he worked with Game Grumps, right?
Yeah, okay, I know what we're talking about here. This is where he did like a live stream, right? Where he talked about
Yes.
a bunch of shit that was going on in the Game Grumps.
Yes.
And Bowblax had made like a video about it. And I remember a lot of the fans from Game Grumps or whatever were kind of like coming after Bowblax for talking about it, even though this guy, he went on a live stream and talked about it publicly, so I'm not sure what he was expecting. I remember this because I was like arguing in the fucking Twitter replies against people shitting on Bowblax for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
so
Go ahead.
yeah, essentially, yeah. So he made that live stream talking about the Game Grump stuff, and I essentially like re-uploaded it with like cuts and like intro outro type thing to like archive onto my channel. And
Yeah.
he responded saying that like all the information was inaccurate. The video was clickbait. I'm disgusting for making money off this. Blah blah blah. So I responded and I was like, "Hey, I'm open to turning off monetization or even possibly deleting it, but I want to know like what specifically is clickbait and what specifically is misinformation because I didn't intend to do any of those things, and I want to know um, what those things were." He never responded to me, and then days later, he like started subtweeting me in this like huge Twitter thread where he said he was quitting the internet because of it, and that he was like feeling suicidal or what have you. I don't know if he said that it there or like in his like final stream. He did like a final stream where he was like talking about how I'm like a piece of shit and all this shit and like
Yeah, they were just like accusing you
um
of being money hungry, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
I remember
yeah,
that.
and then
Yeah.
he said like I made the clickbait even more clickbaity because the original thumbnail was like him and then like Game Grumps and then like a little thing of Aaron in the corner. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing
Mhm.
is, he wasn't calling out specifically Aaron or anybody like from the Game Grumps by name. It was just like the overall office and like anonymous people within it, but not specifically Aaron or Danny.
Right.
So I thought when he said clickbait that he meant that the Aaron's face was clickbait because in a sense it is because I'm not talking about Aaron, I'm just talking about his company, right? So I changed it to be like to be exactly what was in the video. It was like doxing, like harassment, blah blah blah. I put it in the thumbnail,
Mm-hmm.
and then he said it was even more clickbait. I made it even more clickbait, and I think I misunderstood because he says clickbait, and to me, clickbait means that there's something in the thumbnail that is either over exaggerated or inaccurate
Mm-hmm.
in order
Mhm.
for to bait you to click on it. But what he was talking about was just like a clickable thumbnail, like something you would want to click that's like sensationalized, I guess, even though I said exactly what happened. It wasn't sensationalized. So he was saying it was more clickbait. He refused to like talk to me. He said because I didn't take it down, I didn't care about victims at all, and I just want to
Oh
make
my
money.
god.
He said he was like feeling down and like suicidal about it. So like for literally months, I was getting barraged by comments being like, "You're gonna kill Ding Dong. He quit YouTube because of you. Like he literally
Yeah.
quit because of this." He went like dot and like quiet on all of his Twitters. Recently, he said he was done forever, and then recently he just came back with a brand new stream for a special return Halloween streams.
Of
With all this
course.
Mm-hmm.
animations, I don't really know what he's really thinking or doing, but yeah, I mean, I've just had to be quiet about it because the more I talk, just the worse it would get with that particular scenario. His
Right.
fan
Yeah.
base is just so dedicated, so it's like, and at the end of the day, he is the victim of the Game Grump stuff and all
Right.
Yeah.
that. So it's
Right.
like
Right. Right.
I can't
I,
like just because he was like a dick to me and being weird. Because in the I'm sorry for rambling a
No,
lot here,
no,
but
no. You're
no, you're
in
good.
good.
the
Go ahead.
in the stream that I clipped, one of the things he said is that like this keeps happening because people stay quiet about it. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
thought that meant that he would love it to be shared more to people,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Um, but then he changed his mind.
Mm.
So I don't know if he even I really don't know. But he didn't communicate with me, and I was 100% willing to take down the video or edit anything, but I just needed to know the reasons why beyond take this down because I told you to.
Right.
And he refused to communicate and instead decided to demonize me and then pin me as the reason he will never come back to making content again. Which obviously, if you're a big fan of this creator, and you find out that another creator is responsible for them not coming back and making content you love, obviously it's going to rile them up. And then with allusions to suicide on top of that and depression, it's like, So, I just haven't been able to say anything because if I do, I make it worse. Even talking here, if it like gets clipped and posted, like it could potentially make it worse. So I just delete comments that say really insane shit and ignore it for the most part. So and I wish him the best, I guess.
I thought it was really fucked up because like not only are you like spreading awareness for his story, but it also like I feel like it's beneficial to other people who might possibly be employed by Game Grumps in the future to know that this is how the employees and stuff are treated. So it feels almost and I'm not trying to shame the guy or anything, but it feels almost a little bit selfish on his part to not like want that information out there, because what if other people decide that they want to work there and they don't know about this history with the company, you know?
Yeah, I had those exact same thoughts. He can like be annoyed at me or mad at me or whatever, but like he immediately assumed the worst intentions of me, saying like the stuff he said in the first comment was kind of vile. I don't know if I have it like not like disgusting, but just like in terms of like intenseness.
Right. He was really assuming your intent pretty heavy there.
Well,
I might have a screenshot of it somewhere.
Well, would it be fair to say that maybe he was taking his frustrations out on you to a certain degree? Would that be fair?
I think so personally.
Yeah, I think so. And
maybe, but basically, like, even then, I was still nice because I was just being understanding. All I needed was just like his explanation, just so I could like make sure that I don't make mistakes in the future.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And to make sure to do this properly.
Right.
I know the argument a lot of people make that I do think maybe holds some weight is that like he's the victim and it's his story, so it's like it's not your place to he doesn't owe you an explanation.
Right.
But then I just didn't feel comfortable removing a video that I see no issue with, that I think could potentially maybe even help people.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Without knowing like why, and like if something's incorrect, especially since I posted it, if something's incorrect in it, I would want to know why so I could explain it to my audience, who by that point a lot of people have seen the video. So, you know, he just never opened a dialogue, and that was really the issue there. And what created any problem we may have is because he didn't open a dialogue, because he immediately assumed I wasn't worthy of one, because he assumed my intents immediately.
Right.
Because the video was monetized.
It might be kind of hyperbolic, but like I don't know. I feel like, you know, if you're gonna go on a public platform and discuss something like this, then you have to expect that it's gonna be recorded or posted elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like I understand. I think that he like deleted the stream after the fact.
Yeah, but then it was what happened is that it was like reposted by somebody else, just like an hour of it of him talking, and the stream was 15 hours long. And I think in the stream he mentioned that he didn't want people to re-upload it, but I only saw the clipped version. And since it was like an hour and a half of him talking straight, I assume that's all what he talked about it. And in his comment, he's like, you like edited down like a 15-hour stream. I'm like, were you really talking about that for 15 hours? Like, wasn't it just the 1.5 hours that was clipped?
Yeah.
But apparently later at a random time in the stream, he's like, oh, I don't want people to re-upload that. I changed my mind. Because in the clip, he was very much like, this keeps happening because people stay quiet or whatever. But I didn't watch that part, and I actually tried to look for the full VOD to get the full context because I know a fan reclipped it,
Yeah.
but it wasn't on his Twitch, right? I even reached out to a mutual before the video went up. I reached out to a mutual about it just to make sure all the facts were correct, and she's the mutual said like, yeah, the facts are correct, but he's not gonna like that you upload this video. And I'm like, okay. And then I just like, so like I literally did single thing I possibly could before uploading the video to make sure that the information was true to his word in the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
That situation was
yeah.
annoying, and I thought it was really unfair how you were treated, especially if it seemed like a lot of his fans that were attacking you, maybe they did know, but like you have a history with Game Grumps, right? Like you were heavily involved with that community, weren't you?
Yeah, not like with them personally, but I was like a huge fan of the channel. Yeah,
same with me.
Yeah, so you have like a personal attachment.
Yeah, I watched it since it started because I was a JonTron fan, and I watched JonTron before he started Game Grumps. So literally the day he announced it, like I was there watching when there was only like 2 videos on the channel or 3. I think they uploaded 3 the first day. It was like Kirby, Superstar, Link Between Worlds, and Mega Man 7. I think.
Yeah. Because when I saw you talking about it, for me, it was like, okay, well, this is something that he has like a personal attachment to. You know, he has been a fan of this for a long time, so of course he's going to talk about it and like shed light on it. And I don't know, it made sense to me, so I thought it was really unfair how DingDong's fans and whatever were treating you.
I agree. But you know what though, is that with fanatics like that, to a certain degree, you can't control it, and it is what it is. And I think you're taking the high road with it, Bowblax.
I know you talked about it before. I wasn't going to bring it up again because I know that you're kind of annoyed by it. But the whole DingDong thing, I was a huge fan of Oni Plays for throughout the time that DingDong was there. DingDong and Julian, that whole arc that they had was fantastic. It's really sad.
Yeah, I loved it.
That'll never. It doesn't seem like that'll happen again because of everything. But I just wanted to say to you, because I saw because I'm in those circles. Like I've been around in like Oni Play circles and Game Grumps circles and stuff like that, and like I saw at the time like some of the stuff that they were saying about you, and I just want to say dude, you didn't deserve any of that. Like I knew where you were coming from with that, and I think that it was more than fair what you did. And I don't think that they were just hyper protective, and they don't. It seems like there's it's a weird thing where people just don't understand. Let's call it our side of the internet, commentary. They don't understand the purpose of it, And even if DingDong didn't really want that out there, I feel like there is still some good, like you had mentioned before. It's other people want to come forward if they have some sort of a problem. It's one more reason that they might be able to, or one more thing they can hold on to. So yeah, sorry, not to bring it up again. I just wanted to make sure you knew, because I was I felt so bad. It was terrible what they were saying.
It's less about the fan, because I've been in those circles too, and I know how the fans are, and it's their favorite creator or whatever. And especially when the creator says I'm not creating content anymore because of this guy.
Yeah, no, but that's a lot to put on you. That sucks. That's really dumb.
Yeah, so I can understand the fans' reaction. I mean, most of my frustration comes with how DingDong did it, because DingDong is acquainted with his fan base. He knows how they'll act based on what he said, and he just was non-communicative, immediately aggressive, assumed my intention immediately.
Right,
and
right.
Then,
it bothers me because they all understand. It's not like they're unaware of how lolcows work, or how the internet works in general. Chris and all of them, I felt like they got it, and that whole situation was very eye-opening, because I was wow, they really don't. They really, You think that people would know better?
DingDong and Julian. I don't know about Chris, but
I think Chris. Fair enough, because I think Chris maybe does get it. That's why he kind of stayed out of a lot of that stuff. If I was remembering a lot of that stuff, what was interesting to me about Chris's non-involvement with every single one of these dramas is just that he would just wasn't involved. He just would always step away from it. And I think even DingDong during that said something about Chris not wanting to be involved in that, kind of putting a strain on their I guess, friendship. So that was a whole mess. Like I said, I don't want to like, drag you back into it
they're
or anything
very
like that, but
drama averse. I know that.
it's weird.
From behind the scenes and stuff. Actually, Oni was going to do a collaboration with JonTron on Oni Plays to play Sonic 06.
Yeah.
But they didn't because they were afraid of backlash. But this was 6 years after like this was like 2018, 2019, and he was still afraid of any like backlash. So they are like petrified of drama. They don't want to get involved at all. Pro Jared was the same way too. It's why
oh my God,
Pro Jared responded by like demonizing drama channels, and it's also why Super Mega was demonizing my video and a couple others in their response.
It's just wild to me because like they're the people that did all this shit. It's not like I don't know. It's an annoyance that I see. It's one of those like don't meet your heroes kind of moments, I think, for me, where I was like, damn it, I watch these people quite a bit, and then just to see them, the way that they react towards things, it's like, this is unfair and childish. Like I feel like the way that they're handling it, and then it's the irresponsibility of how they treat, like how they acted upon, like how they acted with that, and what that said to their fans, and then what their fans did with it.
Right,
Like the fans have responsibility, but like they're, it's a mob. It's mob rule at a certain point, and I don't think that DingDong should have said what he said. I looked at that again recently, and that was terrible.
I responded to his comment. I don't know where his comment is because it's not on my video anymore. I didn't delete it. I think maybe he went out of his way to delete his comment on my video or whatever.
Yeah.
But I responded to it. And I was like, because he basically, his initial comment was like, this is clickbait, all of this is wrong, blah, 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 you're just doing this for money, you're evil, take this down.
Well, my Steelman for all that is like, okay, sure, but who, like, yes, and? Like,
and then I responded, I was like, I'll take off the monetization and correct any errors that were made, but I'm not comfortable taking it down until you, like, explain what that was. And then he never responded, and then responded with all this shit, like subtweeting me and then saying like I'm the reason he's quitting and like leaving and putting all that on me.
Okay.
But
so
luckily he did upload recently an announcement saying he's making a big Halloween stream comeback.
Yeah, see, but
I
this
guess
is the thing.
all of that was like
this is the cycle. This is the DingDong and Julian cycle. I hate to say it, but like I've been following their streams and stuff, and I love them as people. Like I think or I guess as content creators, I appreciate their humor. I like what they produce.
I do too. I think they're funny as fuck.
Yeah, and it's just really sad that they're so. I guess that's the thing, is it's so sad that on a personal level they don't get it. They just don't understand. They didn't quite. But maybe, I don't know. For some of these people, I think too, it's like if they were on the other side of things, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. It's just weird because like DingDong is obviously a victim. I think what happened to him was really fucked up, and he had every right to talk about it. And people would have supported him if he had gone. And it didn't even have to be like people had to lose their careers over it or anything.
Right.
Like it's just like I think that
and
they
people
escalated.
were supporting him and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
And then he got mad. So.
Yeah.
It's it basically like the issue was like, and he was really rude to me in the initial comment, but I didn't even like, I was like, okay, he's like, it's obviously this is a lot for him, whatever, or not whatever, but like, so I was like responding pretty cordially. I haven't been mean in any of my responses at all, except for I guess expressing frustration on this stream, but basically like if he just responded one more time and just told me like what the issues were in the video, then I would have corrected them, because I do need to know the issues, because a lot of people making the argument where it's like, oh, you should just take it down because he's the victim and he wants it taken down, like you don't need to, he doesn't owe you an explanation. But if I made a video and showed it to a bunch of my viewers and then suddenly gets taken down, people want to know the reason why it got taken down, and I can't just say because DingDong told me to. Like, that's not
right.
And your video staying up has like a bigger purpose than just like what it means to DingDong. I mean, it's archiving a specific instance that happened, in the bigger, broader, I think, sort of like, I don't know what you would call that group of people, but like it's weird that they went to like Bowblax is the aggressor, DingDong is the victim, when that whole story was about like how shitty the Game Grumps office just was in general, and how shitty like those the super mega dudes were.
That's another aspect of it I got really annoyed by, is that it's like And it's also why I didn't like respond or anything like that, because I didn't want the focus to be taken away from, hey,
Right.
this is a shitty bit work environment, right? That was the story. It was like a shitty work environment. Kind
Yeah.
of like the Linus Tech Tips story, right? Except
Yeah,
with like
yeah.
some more severe stuff sprinkled in. Well, I guess not sprinkled, that trivializes it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's like, that really annoyed me because the whole conversation turned into like, oh, commentary scum, Bowblax is heartless versus DingDong and all that shit.
Yeah. fuck
When it
that.
shouldn't be Bowblax versus DingDong, it should be the Game Grumps has a bad
this
work
work
environment.
culture, this work culture
Yeah.
that Aaron has kind of made in his company for some reason,
Yeah.
and this consistently
And,
keeps happening.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, and I also think it's work culture like within the content creator space too. Like I think there's probably a lot of work culture issues with like content creators because their egos get too big and weird shit happens. Like
yeah.
with-
Well, I mean,
with, like,
to be honest, too, a
but-
lot of those old, like, I describe this all the time. It's like you take like a Newgrounds guy. You know, these people were not like very popular. They were popular in niche online circles, but it was like to like other fat old smelly dudes. You know. Then you now make them like internet celebrities, and all of a sudden they have access to power, but you know,
Right.
the ability to be able to kind of pull some slash, and then all of a sudden they just change completely. You know, it's like it's really sad. I don't want to take up more of your time. I just want to say again, thank you, Bowblax, for covering that story. I appreciate that video is still up. Don't let them get you down. They're just defending their guys. That's just what they do.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
All right, dude.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night. Great stream, guys. Great stream.
Thank you,